Hello, I'm writing a video comment or reply to your book video, and I didn't read the book you're talking about, but or you spoke about, but I did finish reading this book called Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and um, it took me the whole month of February to read the book, because I mean it because the book was not as I didn't get into the book as I've gone into other books where I just can't stop reading it and I'm reading it and I read it like in a week or two. I mean, this book was hard to get into. I think it's because the book was written quite some time ago, and like some of the vocabulary or words are like kind of different, and I don't know, just the vocabulary they use and the lingo they use. It's not like my type of lingo, so it's kind of like, what are they talking about? And it talks about like boats and history and like, because it's based in the I think in the 1900s. So in the 19th century, like it's based in the 19th century. So yeah, but the basically the story is really interesting. It's a love story. It is quite a cute story. It's about it revolves around three main people, and it's Fermina Daza, it's Florentino Ariza, and Dr. Urbino. And the story starts with Dr. Urbino going uh, to investigate a death that happened in the city they live in, and so he investigated. It's a suicide, but he makes it believe that he just died of like old age or something. And then he has a wife, which is Fermina Daza, and whatnot. And then like 2 or 3 days pass, and like this Doctor Urbino dies when he's trying to like climb up a tree, trying to catch a mango tree, trying to catch his parrot, and he falls and breaks his back because of old age. So the day he was gonna go to the funeral of the guy who died, which was a good friend of his, he dies as well. And this is where we find out about Fermina Daza's first love, which was Florentino Ariza. And Florentino Ariza quickly fell in love with Firmina Daza when they were young. He saw her one time as because he was a messenger. Those guys who sent the what is it called? The not the it's in here somewhere. Um, I forgot what they're called, but he sends messages. You know the bowls, those. I forgot what's it called. Yeah. So he sends a letter to her father, and he sees Fermina Daza in the reading room, and she falls in love with him. And then so he starts writing letters to her. She doesn't receive them at first, but then she does, and then she quickly falls in love with him as well because he writes really well, and he just romances her through his words. And the thing is that she never meets him. He always just sees him like sees him like reading a book from far away, but they never meet. And so then his father finds out that Fermina Daza is like is in love with this guy who is not suitable for her, so he takes her away, and she travels and she's upset, and then but however, since Florentino is a messenger, he's able to like send her the letters even though she's away. She finds out where she is and stuff, and so she still receives these letters. And then finally she comes back from this long trip, and then I think at a church or something they meet up, and then when she sees him in the face, she's like kind of like upset because she's not who she thought he was. Like I guess he was like not good looking or something, and he's just like she's just like like, oh my god, I can't believe I love this guy. Or and so whatever she felt for him like dies there. Then it appears that she has cholera, because it's called life in the love in the time of cholera, and during this time cholera was such a popular disease. So she her dad thinks she has cholera, so she calls Dr. Rubino, which is like the newest doctor during that time, and he's like really good looking and whatever. So he goes visits her. He quickly falls in love with her as well, and then little that you know it, they end up meeting. She ends up married, asking for her hand. They get married, and whatever. The first year she's not happy, but then she ends up being happy because they travel to Europe and whatnot. And then of course we go back to where he dies, which the book started. And that day, the day that he dies, Mr. Dr. Rubino dies, Florentino Ariza comes and says, "Oh, you remember me? Now that I still love you. Now that your husband's dead, I'm ready to marry you." She's first like obstructed by what he says. he ignores him, but then like he tries and tries, and finally they get back to finally, um, she sees him, and she visits her every Tuesday, whatever. And they're like old. They're like in their she's like 72 and he's like in his 80s or something. And then they take a 11-day trip during this river, with this river on one of his boat, because he's the president of like this boat, I don't know, something like that. And yeah, and they end up together, they sleep together at the end. And the book ends with them taking just taking that boat that they took, the 11-day cruise. They just go back and forth from the dock to like wherever, because apparently they have cholera, so they won't accept them to the port. So all they do is come back and forth, and that's how it ends. I'll read the last thing where it says, where Florentino Ariza says, because the captain asks him, "And how long do you think we can keep up this goddamn coming and going?" he asked. Florentino Ariza had kept his answer ready for 53 years, 7 months, and 11 days and nights. Forever, he said. This is how long he waited for Femina Daza. 53 years, 7 months, and 11 days and nights. So this dude really loved this girl. And this Florentino guy slept with like random people, like random girls, like left and right. And he slept with widows. And she slept with a 14-year-old girl. That's kind of crazy. That was nasty, though. But whatever. But it was an okay book. So you guys want to read it? Read it, Lily. It's a good book, I guess. But I don't know. You probably get bored of it. But yeah, that's it. I talked for such a long time. 6 minutes. Oh my god, that's a long reply. Sorry. Bye.